Dokey. Okay, cool. Came on and the screen was black, so I wasn't quite sure if it was working. So I think instead of doing like a proper lesson this week, with the holiday over here in the US and everything, kind of also had some other stuff that threw me off schedule. I think I might just go ahead and stream twice this week. So we'll do one today and then we'll try to do one tomorrow as well. We'll be building out more of the Jaegerco site. So not a whole lot code-wise has changed, at least, back-end wise. Since the last stream, I did go through and kind of stub out the homepage, subject to change, but this is all just hard-coded stuff, so nothing dynamically pulling or anything like that. There it is. It's quite literally just like if I go into the index page of resources views, it's all right here. So so like the sidebar, latest lessons, it's all just hard coded right here. Sorry, I had to bark at my dog there. She was growling, weren't you? Yeah. So we need to do that at some point. But today in particular, what I want to do is actually get the remainder of the models and migrations that we're going to need, at least storage-wise, set up. So for a post, we're going to have, where did I put it? So I'm going to actually change this up. So previously I had a post model, a series model, and a topics model. But I think we're going to change it up because this would allow things to be a little bit more dynamic in naming. So we're going to do a post model. Oop, I guess I shouldn't highlight. A collection model, and then a taxonomy model. So a collection would be things like the series. However, that also opens up the possibility for me to allow you guys to create your own playlists or whatever, since underneath the hood, that is all considered a collection. And then we could have something like a collection type that would say, all right, this is a course, this is a series, it's a playlist. So it just allows things to be a little bit more dynamic as opposed to having a model just called series. And then we also have a taxonomy, which is also more generic than just saying this is specifically a topic, right? So this allows us to have kind of a tree-based node system for our topics. So we can do, a topic like AdonisJS, and we could do subtopics for each like little AdonisJS subset package. So one for like Edge, I need to stop highlighting, one for Lucid, one for the validator, and so on. And then that would also allow for us to do that same thing with other libraries as well, like Alpine and Vue. So I think that's the approach, at least, that I want to try out and see how it goes. And then we'd have our intermediary tables with like the post users, which is, I think we already have that. And then the collection post taxonomies, and collection taxonomies as well. So collections themselves would be able to have taxonomies assigned to them too. So we'll see how that goes. And then one last thing that I did is, if you recall on the last stream, I think it was, we were getting like the little avatar logo wasn't spinning up, and that's because we were actually hitting rate limiting with Google. So I was using this URL straight from Google. So instead what I did is I added a hook to save this into my DigitalOcean Spaces. Let's see, where was that? Social service. So whenever we're doing a find or create user, every time that a user logs in, just in case their avatar changes or whatever, we refresh the avatar using that user data that we're getting from the social service. And then that was not deprecated, or at least that wasn't lined out whenever I wrote this. Okay, well, I'll need to change that evidently eventually. But what it will do is it will fetch the social service URL, and then it will turn it into array buffer, and then turn it into a buffer, and then I have it saving up into, well, then I get the file name, and then I have it checking whether or not it exists. If it does exist, then it will destroy it, and then it will re-upload the new version. So that's what I have going on right there. Apart from that, that's all that's changed. So let's go ahead and, oh shoot, I already created topic controllers and all that. All right, so we'll end up deleting, did I do the relationship here? I did, okay. Well, why don't we just leave that in there? We'll go ahead and make the models in that for the new, here, let me get this over onto the side so that I can cheat and see exactly what all we need here, so that I don't have to go back and forth. Okay, so we're gonna have, we already have user, we already have post, we need one for collection. So let's do node ace make model collection, and node ace make model taxonomy. Now what I did not do is pre-think what columns I'm gonna need for this, so we might need to just kind of play that by ear. And then we need a migration for the intermediary table, so that would be node ace make migration. Nope. Yeah, no, collection posts would be the first new one. And then we have one for collection taxonomies. And then we have another one that's not collection based at all, that is post taxonomies. Okay. So there we go. That should be all of the models and migrations that we need to generate. We will go ahead and get rid of the topic here in a little bit. Let's do the migration first. Let's try to think through what all columns we're going to need for this. So for the collections, first we know we're going to need a collection type. Now we could create a collection type table. I think at least starting out, that's okay to just have it as an enum, and then if at any point we determine, you know, down the road that we need it to be a table, we can always do that. So let's do table dot. Well, I guess first we'll start with, well, yeah, so integer, and then that would be collection type ID unsigned, and that won't reference anything right now. And then we'll have table string. Collection will need to have a name. I want to say let's limit it to, let's do 75. Let's do 100. Yeah. And then let's see. That might be good enough starting out. Well, hold on a minute. So we would want a couple of other things. So like on the current site, if we go to the old, not that one, this one. So I have it marked as being, oops, I clicked on it, outdated. So we would want something like a status indicator to tell whether or not it's in progress, outdated, completed, something like that. So why don't we also do another integer, table.integer, status ID, collection status ID. What's our current? I know I already have a status enum. It states, yeah, we could use the states, because then, you know, if it's, we could add one for in progress. That wouldn't be too bad. But then if it's completed, then it would just be, I don't know. That's not one-to-one. What's status? Oh, there we go. Status. Perfect. All right. So yeah, we'll just do status ID. So status ID, that will be unsigned. And that won't reference anything because that does not have its own table either. I'm going to note that down on my little note here, just so I don't forget that it's actually there. Well, I don't have anywhere to note it. Okay, never mind. So then that would take care of that. What don't we do with description? Oh, string, do description. That could be 255, table string. Why don't we do page title and meta description too? I don't think those are ever going to need to be different than the name and description, but why not? Okay. Actually, meta descriptions are supposed to be what are they supposed to be? Oh, I have that as 2. Okay, well, that works. We'll just give it as 255. And then why don't we also do an icon? So we'll attach this to the assets as well. Do we want that to be a single, or do we want an intermediary table for that though? why don't we start out as single? So we could do table.integer asset ID unsigned, and this one will reference ID in table assets. I had to think for a second what the heck asset ID's table was. Okay, that should be a good starting point for the collections, I think. Should get us... collections should be able to nest within one another, at least one layer. So we're also going to want table.integer parent, how do you spell parent? There we go. Parent ID, parent collection ID. Let's just do parent ID. References ID dot in table table name. Okay, so that should be good. And then we need to do the taxonomies. Taxonomies are going to be the same. They're going to be nestable within one another. So this will have another integer parent ID dot unsigned references ID in table this dot table name. There we go. All right, and then table dot let's see, this is going to be pretty similar to the topics table, so it's not going to take much. Yeah, collections also need a slug. Good point. So let's also do that before I forget on the collection. So just after the name, we will do slug. Since the name is 100, we'll do the slug is 150 to account for the hyphens and all that other stuff that just might need to change based off of the title. And then this will have the same. It's also going to have a name, so we'll do name first. These should be shorter. I would say they should not exceed 50. And then we'll do 100 for the slug on that one. Oh yeah, I need to do the null, not null differentiation here. So name should be not null. Description, that's fine. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do not nullable and default it. Yeah, there we go. That way we don't have to do null checks. We could just do empty string checks. Okay. And then this is nullable. I'm going to explicitly note that this is not nullable. And we will default it to status right there. Status dot in progress, I guess. That would be the appropriate one to default to. And then collection type ID, we need to create an enum for that. Actually, let's do that real quick. So enums, new file, collection type. Oh, I didn't capitalize type. Okay, there we go. Enum, collection type. And then this would be, let me use my cheat sheet because I already am blanking on it. Course, series, playlist, things like that. So why don't we do series is 1, course is 2, and playlist is 3. All right, and we will default that to course. Okay, so that table should be all good. And then taxonomies. So we have the parent, we have the name, we have the slug. Why don't we also kind of mimic this a little bit closer to the collection? So it would have page title, it would have description, and it would also have an asset ID as well, because why not? So we'll just copy those. The status ID wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So this should be good for the taxonomy. And then we have the, what is this, collection posts. So that's pretty similar to the post series table that I had on the old project. I'm going to cheat and see what all I had on there, because I think I don't remember if it should have sort order. Oh, never mind. I remember. So we have table dot, first and foremost, we need the ID integers. So this would be post ID, unsigned, references, the ID in the table, posts, and then we have integer, I almost did series, collection, there we go, collection, ID, unsigned, references, ID in the table, collections, and then we're going to have table dot integer. We're going to have, so because collections, we're going to have the same kind of thing going on with taxonomies to an extent. No, actually, no. We don't need to worry about that. So previously, what I had going on the, did I not have it open? I thought I opened it up. On the previous project, which I never liked the way that I did this. If we take a look here, where is series? No, post series, sorry. I had a sort order, but then I also had a module sort order for the actual module. Excuse me. And then the modules were set up just based off of the actual group, the same module string. So that's kind of a cheap way to do it. This way is going to be, I think, a little bit better. So instead of doing it to where we just check to see, which all collection posts records have the same module and group those all together, we can just do it based off of the parent IDs and then sort based off of those. So these should just need a single sort order column instead of having one for the module and one for the actual parent level. And this will be not nullable, and we'll just default that to 0, because it may not be necessary in every case. Okay, and I think that's it for the collection post. We can always add to it later on. And then collection taxonomies is, I don't even know if we need to worry about that. It sounded good in my head whenever I was thinking through the schema. But now that I'm here thinking about what would actually go inside of it, I don't know. So why don't we do, so first and foremost, we'll go ahead and get the IDs in place. References ID in table, taxonomies. But apart from that, like, I think that's mostly just binding, what we'll leave it like that. You never know. Could come in handy. We'll leave it like that. And we'll see if we end up using it whenever we actually go to implement things. And then post taxonomies, these will definitely be needed. So we'll do integer, post ID, references ID in table, posts. And then we have table.integer taxonomy ID, taxonomy ID, unsigned, references ID in table. Okay, I'm pretty sure I spelled that wrong. According to the highlight, I did not, but I rewrote it anyway. And then these will have a sort order as well, I think. I'm going to go ahead and plop a sort order on this too, on the collection taxonomies. I don't think it's going to need it if we do use it, but it'll be there just in case. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill out the models with these. So again, I'm just going to copy all of those And then we need to find them. So here's collection. Paste that in there. Let's line it up. Okay. I'll leave those there for a second. And then we'll want to do @column public. Drop that in, do the type. And then let's see here. What do we got going on? They are all not nullable, aren't they? Except for the asset ID. Okay. Good enough. So we're going to just get rid of all of those. And then there's one more thing I need to do. What is it? Oh. Camel case. There we go. And then we need to switch these from integer to number. And then I need to do or null on the asset ID. That was, since it's nullable. Okay, there we go. So collection should be good. Now we need to do taxonomy. Oh, actually. So we have collection type. That is not just a type of number, but that is a collection type. And then the status ID is not just a number, but is a status. There we go. Now that is good. All right. So now let's do the taxonomies. Okay. So at column, drop that down, public. Out, paste it in, camel case it, and then after that we will, is any our asset ID is nullable. Oh, I need to go put required, not nullable on the name, and on the, well no, parent ID is nullable. Actually, I need to go do that on the collection too, because parent ID is nullable there too. I just didn't explicitly specify that. Okay. And then we'll go do our space, change these to numbers. It's always those little things, right? Number, number, or null on both of those, actually. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing on collection there. So parent ID should definitely be or null. Okay. Is that? Yeah, that should be good. And then we on what was it on the taxonomy table? We need to go put. Nope, that is nullable. So I can go ahead and explicitly specify that just so I don't confuse myself. And then not nullable on the name. Okay, that should be good. And then we just need to define the relationships for these intermediary tables to actually make them workable with Lucid. So let's go do that. So collection here. Let's see. Collection has collection to post. Really, shouldn't that also be to the user? Why did I not do that? Oh, yeah, okay. Because it's more so to Jaeger, not necessarily a user. But then if you do a playlist, then it would be to the, yeah. Let's make an explicit user ID on that, I guess, at least for right now. Do owner ID, how about that? Okay, that should be good. And then we will define that. So that way, if I need to add the ability later on for more, I don't know why I would, but for more people to be on it, then we could just null out that column or whatever and create a separate table for it. So where was that? Collection. So we'll go ahead and do the user first. So at that is, well, we need to add that into the actual model as well. So at column public, no, owner ID. Owner ID, which is of type number. And yeah. And then we would do at belongs to, if I'm remembering my rule right on that, belongs to user public owner ID belongs to type of, oops, user. Okay, something didn't import there. Was it belongs to or was it user? Or I got something wrong? Am I misremembering something here? I must be. Let me go cheat and look at one of the others. It's been a minute. It looks pretty right. I'm gonna try rewriting it. Maybe I fludged something up. Belongs to user. All right, what are you actually complaining about? Let's read it. Argument of type collection is not assignable to a parameter of type owner ID belongs to. That, okay. Oh, son of a, well, okay, at least there, that needs, yeah. Something as simple as tacking an ID on the end of it. All right, there we go. And then this also needs a many-to-many with post. So many-to-many with post. I'm going to explicitly specify the pivot table as, what is it, collection posts. And then we have the pivot columns of, what did we put on it? Collection posts, just sort order. Okay. There we go. Public posts, many-to-many type of post. And then collection taxonomies, which is the one that we weren't quite, or I wasn't quite sure whether or not I'd actually need. Whoa, no, not taxonomies. There we go. Taxonomy. Scroll up a little bit. This one has pivot, sure, column of, I believe I just put sort order on that, and then a pivot table of collection taxonomies, public taxonomies, many-to-many type of taxonomy. There we go. Okay, so that should be it for the collection, and then we just need to go do the taxonomy and the user. Taxonomy is very much so will be specific to just Jaeger, so there won't necessarily need to be a user per se on that. So we'll do at, nope. Let's see. Oh, need to go do the asset as well. So there's asset ID on there. So we'll do that. So that would be what? At, that would be another belongs to. So let me go put that up with the other belongs to. Asset, public asset, belongs to type of asset. Okay. Now that should be good. If I go take a look at everything else. Parent. We need to do the parent too. Oh boy, there's always one more thing in there. All right, so at belongs to itself. So collection, public, just name this parent, belongs to type of collection. All right, now that should be it. Now let's go do the taxonomy. Okay, so we have parent. So I'm gonna, and we have asset. So I'm gonna go ahead and just copy, and we're gonna have posts. So why don't we just copy all three of those, and then we just need to import stuff So belongs to asset. Oop. Belongs to collect. Nope, not collection type. Sorry. Collection and many to many post and many to many. Okay. And then the name of this pivot table then goes to what am I on? Taxonomy, and this is for post, so that would be post taxonomies. And that also has a sort order. Isn't there one more? Oh yeah, the inverse of the taxonomy. So here, I can actually copy and paste this and we'll just inverse it. Okay, so instead of taxonomy here, which is the model that we're currently within, this would be collection. And then instead of collection, that would still be collection taxonomies. And then instead of taxonomies, that would be collections. And then instead of type of taxonomy, that would be type of collection. There we go. Now we get the inverse of that. And then we need to go tack on collections onto the user. So that's going to be a has many. So we'll put that with a has manys. And collection is the model for that. Yeah, flip that up. There we go. And I said I was putting this with the has manys, but I put it right underneath the has one. So let's put that with the has manys. Okay. And then we're going to be getting rid of topics. So I'm going to go ahead and do that within here. So there goes topic. Bye-bye. Go ahead and get rid of the model if I can find it. There it is. So delete. And then we will go ahead and, because I don't believe we've done anything. Yeah, no, the controller's completely empty. So should be a-okay to just get rid of it. Okay. That looks good. And then we didn't do series yet. So that's weird that I already had topic in there, but not series. But that works. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll back and try running the migrations. Let's see if we run into any issues. And then before we rerun the migration, we'll go ahead and get rid of the topics migrations. So it'd be topic, post topics, and I think that's it. So node ace migration roll back batch 0. So say goodbye to everything. And then node ace migration run. Oh, no. Get rid of you and you. All right. And I don't know why they just scrolled me up. So, all right, looks good. Let's go ahead and hit run. And everything ran okay. Let's go ahead and let's log out, and then all right, let's see what we got going on here. So cannot find module topic where model post. So all right, I took it out of the user, but I forgot to take it out of the post as well. So let's do that. So we're going to want to get rid. I might not have gotten rid of the import in the user either. I think I just deleted out the relationship. So there we go. Now it's out of the post. Let's go take care of the import on the user. Okay. So now that we have that, whoops, did not mean to open Safari. My bad. All right. Cool. So now we're signed out. Let's go ahead and sign up. And all right, my fix is in place, but I fixed the scroll. So as you can see here on the login, the scroll's fixed. But my fix is still in place here, so we'll need to fix that at some point. But all right. Did I break this? I might have broken this. I was working on this earlier today and I could not remember what I was working on. But I had to abruptly leave. So it could be that I broke something and never finished it. My bad if that is indeed the case. Null value in column email of relation users violates non-null constraint. Insert into user's avatar URL created at Google Access Token role ID values, so returning ID. So it looks like it wasn't setting an email. But doesn't Google come with the email? Like you need an email to have a Google account, I'm pretty sure. All right. Well, if I didn't change so much view-wise, I would go look and see what the Git history was. But if I had to guess, it's something with the social changes that I did with the... Let's see, did I change anything in particular to emails here? I would have to assume it's trying to insert it into the user, right? Insert into users, yes. So it would probably be this right here. Oh, I didn't provide the email. Really? I didn't provide the email? Yeah, no, email's lit up. What are you lit up about? String or null? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, both GitHub and Google, the two social services that I require, come with an email. So it should be good to just state that that is actually there. So let's back out, try that again, see if that was indeed the issue. No, not quite. Role ID? What is it now? Returning insert or update on user table violates foreign key constraint user role ID foreign. So I'm providing a role ID. I didn't seed. God damn it, Tom. There we go. Now we should be good. Seeders are so easy to forget about, especially since it's been, whenever it's been a little bit. So there we go. All right, we were able to log in. I need to make myself an administrator again. Let's jump in here and do that. Okay. What was that? Role 2, I think. And voila, there's all that stuff. Okay. So now just the fun portion. Where and how do we want to bind collection and taxonomy creation and management? So first, the verbiage here on the pages should probably be updated from post series topics to post collections and taxonomies. So why don't we go ahead and do that, if I can remember where that is. I think... Oh, yeah, no, I also kind of restructured the components and all that too. So that's another thing that I did off screen. So like if we come in here, instead of referencing component, and then components, and then the actual path, just using the shorthand of, form input alt to read from components, form input alt. So cut back on a little bit of the syntax there. So that's another thing that happened. But what was I going to go do? The header for the studio. So this changes to collections, and this changes to taxonomies. And then we'll need... I need to update the permission check on that as well, but we'll circle around and do that later. And then the drop down for the actual header needs that as well. So post collections and taxonomies. Okay. So now that should be updated here as well, and it is. Okay. So now we need to create we'll start with collections. So we'll create the collections page. I think, we'll go ahead and create. So let's do node ace make controller studio collection. Should work. Oh, I forgot to make it as a resource. Let's see if we can override it, maybe. Skip. Okay. Well, let me delete it and we'll recreate it. There we go. Okay. So we'll need an index page. This, for right now, we will just return back the view. So we'll extract view, return views.render studio collections index, and that should just be view. We'll go ahead and create that page. So we'll go down to studio, collapse some of this up here and cut back on the noise. All right, so studio, new file, collections, index.edge. I'm just going to copy and paste the post index. It's definitely going to be different, but for the most part, it's probably still going to be a table at the end of the day. So it'd just be a matter of changing the table columns and all that stuff. So create new collection, and then we're going to get an error here, but we'll go ahead and type in what the, so this would be collection with an S. And that would be collections. And then trying to think of whether or not this is going to throw an error. Probably I'm just going to provide an empty array for right now. And then we'll need to go through and update all the columns and all that stuff. Okay. So we need to go create the create page as well, so that that does not throw an error. So let's see. Right here. So this will be view, return view.render, studio, collections. Are we going to need a separate create and update page? I want to say no. We can always split it apart if we end up needing that. So let's do create or edit for this as well. Yeah. We need to go create that. So down here, we do a new file, create or edit. And I don't think it would hurt to just copy and paste it from the posts. I mean, it's going to need a decent amount of changes, but it should be okay, right? So let's see, if we have a collection ID, then this would be update collection. Otherwise, it's create new collection. I think I think this also needs a state, doesn't it? Because then you should be able to put a collection as public, private, or, yeah. So it needs a state as well. So let's go back into migrations, collections, and where is status? Let's do state as well. So table integer, state ID, unsigned, not nullable, and default it to public. That's private. Public should be good. Okay, there we go. And then let's go add it into the model and then rerun our migration, and then we should be good to proceed. So there's status. We'll do it right underneath there. Column, public, state ID, state. Cool. All right. So what was I doing down here? Yeah, so for the most part, we should be okay to keep some of that right here. The draft doesn't make sense, but save as unlisted, save as private, and then just I don't know, save. I'll workshop that later on. Let's see, and then I'm gonna just comment this. Okay, we'll just do everything here one go. So let's do collections, Hey, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. Collections there. Well, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. And then let's see. So we will stick with the state ID, but we will get rid of defaulting to draft. Instead, we'll default to public. And then instead of post, that needs to be collection. And instead of post form, this will be collection form. This does not need time zone. And then we'll need to alter a lot of these fields, form fields. Let's see, we don't need publish at all, so we can get rid of that. We have slug, we have description. Instead of title, it's name. I don't know if title would make more sense, but we'll change this to name. And then this also needs, go ahead and just do a quick find and replace on this. So post changes to collection. There. Skip over that one. Actually, we can get rid of the canonical altogether. Won't need that. Okay. Let's replace that one. Won't need this at all either. Actually, this whole right side we're good to get rid of, but we want to maintain it because at a later point in time we'll add in like the post and the taxonomy management over there. So we'll leave that there. We don't need the editor, so that doesn't need to be there. And that leaves us with, what is this? Oh, description? Yeah, I think that's all the right fields. Okay. And then we can get rid of this script, I think. I misnamed, so I named this Studio Post Editor, but it does a little bit more than just the editor. But I need to split this up. Because I was going to do it as this just the editor and then import it in to another file specifically for the editor page. But no, this does not have anything in it that the collection page would need. So we're good to get rid of that. And then, I don't know why that console log was there. I think this is it. So I think that's pretty spot on to what we'll need. And that just takes us back to defining the routes. So there's our posts. So we'll do route.group. Wow. Glurp. All right. There we go. We got it spelled right this time. Route.get. Shoot. Collections. Yes. And I believe I said this last time, but I'll say it again. So you can definitely use a resource here. I have this thing where I just really like having all of my routes manually labeled out. I don't know how to describe it. It's just personal preference. But definitely, if it's your cup of tea, use a resource instead of doing what I'm doing and manually defining everything. I'm gonna say heck with it and just copy and paste the posts. I think that's what I usually do anyways, just copy and paste from one another whenever I have a new resourceful style route. And then just change all of these from posts to collections. All right, and then on here, we'll prefix it with collections. As collections, and this will require the middleware role with a role of admin. And then that leaves us with the finishing up this controller for the most part. But before we do that, oh, I didn't actually add in the URL to go to the page. Let's do that, I guess, first. So down to our header and studio header. Did I close it? I did. Oh, it's partials. So header studio. I'm gonna do route studio collections index, and I will copy this, and then in the main header we will paste that in. Okay, so we should be good to go to collections, and this button is updated. Yeah, it's updated, but it cannot read, so we need to provide that data the same way that we are to the posts. So if we go into the post controller here and we go into the create page, we have these states. So we also need to provide that the same way with our collections controller. So for the show, create, sorry, do state and states. Okay, so now if we try it, there it is. So we have name, slug, description, and the SEO stuff. Okay. So then let's go ahead and get that store written in. So we'll want the request and response for that. No. Yeah, response. And we'll want to validate it. And I think I'm going to use a separate validator. So we'll do node ace, make validator collection. I don't remember. Is it, yeah, just collection validator. Yeah, that works. All right. So name, which is a schema.string, trim it to true. Rules dot, oh, I need to import rules. Yeah, there we go. Rules dot max length of, I believe I set it to 100. You can always double check that. Well, what did I do for the post? Does that need a slug? I think slug dot optional, right? Yeah, that should be good. Okay. And then we need to copy over that slug unique constraint as well. Go ahead and get rid of that massive comment. Okay, here we go. What else do you have? Copy that over onto the side so I can actually see it. Owner will get off of the authenticated user whenever it's created. Parent would be another one I would need. So would that be? Yes, that would. Would it be? Yeah, I guess. We'll bypass that for right now. We can always add it in later on. So we'll just do a single layer first, and then we'll come back and add on that second layer with the parent ID on it. Collection type ID, which is a schema, and job enum. What is it? Object.values collection type. Am I remembering that right? All right, it read squiggly, so I guess. All right, and then we have status ID, which would be very similar. So, oh, wait, what? options allowed. Oh yeah, okay. So that would be object values, and that would be status. And then you have asset ID schema.number. And then that we need to do a rules dot exists table assets column ID. And then we already have the name and the slug. Description schema.string. We'll go ahead and say sure trim that as, why do I keep trying to type trim? So we'll do trim there too. And then we'll have meta description. And then we'll tack on the max lengths to those. I believe both are 255. Okay. And page title. Skipped over page title. So we'll put that above the descriptions. I don't remember what I said as a max length for that. Sorry, I can't speak. 100. Okay. Cool. Slug is 150 here, so instead of 255, we'll do 150. There we go. All right, so that should be it, I think, for the collection. So then we'll head back into the collections controller, and we'll do const data equals await request.validate collection validator await collection.create data return response dot redirect dot to route studio collections index. We haven't set anything up with the session alerts yet, but we'll do session.flash. Ooh, success. Your collection has been created. And we have a red squiggly on our data. What is it? Oh yeah, I do need to provide some more stuff into there, don't I? Let's see. So what are we missing here? We're missing the owner ID, so we need auth. Okay. What else are we missing? Parent ID is nullable, so that's not going to be needed. Status ID should be in data, I think, right? We need to do the slug, but that would be, we'd do the same thing there as we're doing for the post. So we need to add that onto the model, actually. Collection type ID? No, I'm pretty sure that's in the data. Yep, it's in both. Oh, types of property. Oh, right. So let's change these back to number. That should fix that, right? Because what does this say the collection type ID type is for the validator? String. Oh, right. String. Ran into that with the post as well, didn't we? And that's why we didn't end up using the enum type, because we needed numbers. So what did we do for the post? I think we just changed it to numbers. Yeah. Yeah, so number.optional. Okay. I'm sure you do some type of check on that as well, but all right, so well, these ones are required. Well, no, we do have the database. Well, yeah, we'll leave them as required. That would make more sense. Okay. So did that get rid of this quickly? It did. Okay. So we'll give that a save. And we'll go ahead and try this out. Let's see if it works. So we'll do test collection. We'll leave the, oh, that reminds me, slug. So we need to go do what we did on the post for the collection. And then while we have this copy and pasted, we'll do the same thing for the taxonomy, because we'll have the exact same thing. So there's slug all the way down there. Now we need to import slugify, this one. All right, and then instead of title, that reads off of name. Okay, and the same thing there for taxonomy. So where is slug on this one? There we go. Okay, now we should be good to test. So we'll leave the slug empty. This is a description. Does it save? Nothing. All right. So it didn't even seem like it refreshed at all, so I'm guessing it didn't fire out at all, which means we probably have something going wrong here. So yeah, can't access property state ID, document forms, post form. Oh, okay. So on the creator update page for the collections all the way down here, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, change this to collection form. Okay, let's try this again. Empty that and let's scale you down. All right. So test collection. This is a test. Save. All right, that time it refreshed and it brought us back to here. I have to assume that we got some sort of validation error. So let's dig into what that might be. So I will do a pre-tag. Well, let's actually just do inspect. Let's just inspect all of the flash messages. And we'll try. Yeah, refreshed. All right, so test collection. This is test. Send it off. So collection type ID, status ID, asset ID, page title. I really messed up on the validation, evidently. So let's go take a look at that. So yeah. Well, these are sending up to my. All right, so my thinking was these were sending up empty strings, but obviously that's not happening. The save is empty strings if they're not provided. So we need to definitely provide optional here. As for the asset ID, that should be optional and status ID should not be. So I'm not, status ID should be sending up with it. So we need to dig into why that's not. And then the collection type ID, we'll need to add a selector for. But why would the status ID not be sent up? Well, no. So this is state, not status. So you do need a status ID selector as well. So, okay. Underneath here, let's do, what do I have going on for the select component? I believe that's in the normal input component, yeah. Yeah, select right there. Okay. So copy this. Okay, type is select. Oops. And then we'll want to do the options here. So we'll do well, we do option, we'll manually define them, that's fine. Value equals, and then we need to provide these into the page. So let's do const statuses. Status, there we go. And then what was the other one? Collection type. So const collection types equals collection type. Okay. So then this would be this would be for status. Status ID. It will have a default selection, so we don't need to worry about that. Collection dot status ID, otherwise flash message for the status ID. Otherwise, it should be statuses dot what is in my statuses. In progress, if you're just creating it. In progress. All right, now that does not need rows at all. So statuses dot in progress. And then we'll have another one for completed and another one for archived. And another one for outdated, actually. So, yeah. So, completed, archived, outdated. Oh, I never put the ending. There we go. Okay, so that should be good for that one. And then we need one more for the collection type, which should probably not be the last field in the form, but we'll put it here for right now. So this will be type, collection type ID, collection type ID, and then this would be collection types dot series, I think is the default that I put on the database, so we'll default it here as well. And then collection type. And then I think this just has 3. And the first one is series, course, playlist. All right. So the select style could use some work. That's not the best, but we'll fix that up later on. Let's go ahead and do our test collection here. This is test. Then we have our default of in progress and series. So let's save. Okay, cool. We went back to the home page, so all should be good there. It should have created. We can verify that with the database. To refresh and go to collections. And there it is. So then we'll go ahead and get that querying down. Probably do the same thing as we're doing here. Yeah. So we can copy most of what we're doing for the posts directly into the series and just import our stuff. So state descriptions. We already got state. We need to import the route module, and it doesn't want to. It's too many competing stuff. So we'll import route from @IOC Adonis core route, and then we need our auth and a request. So request auth, and that should now do it. And then instead of the base URL being studio post, that should be studio collections. And we need to return back states and state descriptions. And instead of querying the related posts, this should now instead be collections, which does not have authors, but I'll comment that out for right now. Good enough. All right, so let's see if we can get that at least plopping the name out in the table. So we'll come to here. Name. Will not have an author column. It will have a status. It will have a type. It will eventually probably have a view count. Won't have publish at. And it will have actions, and we'll have publish at all, so we can get rid of that. And then we need to provide, did I change the name of that, or am I still providing that as post? Yeah. Collections. Collections and collections. So we'll provide that into the table as collections. We can get rid of that bit right there. Change this one to name, and instead of doing just do name there, everything else should be okay. We're gonna need to update the routing though, so instead of that it should be collections. Yeah, and then I have this one hard-coded because it doesn't exist yet, but it definitely won't be collections, but we'll hold it there for right now. Okay, I think that's it. So we can go ahead, save. Oh, this needs to change to collections as well. The edit and destroy. Okay. Now we should be okay to refresh, or at least try. Nope. Missing model attribute user.collections expects user ID to exist on collection model, but it is missing. So that is a model-based issue with how we are defining the user is and collections. So we are querying from the user. I might have never defined the inverse. So I know that we put the user on the collection as owner. Did we not put collections on the user? Nope, it's right here. All right, I must have something inversed here. Let's see. Oh, it's okay. Yeah. So what is that? Foreign key, I think is what they use for that, and then that needs to be owner ID. Since this doesn't know what the heck I'm referencing it as on the collection table, I need to tell it, hey, check out the owner ID for what collection this user belongs to. So that should, nope. Now user.collections expects owner ID to exist on collection model. There we go. Unexpected to, okay, yeah, now it's the commented out issue. So we got past that. And it does not like this style of comment. Well, we can get rid of that. This definitely doesn't have authors in it. All right, another error. Oh yeah, there is no post type description, but this does have a type. So let's just replace this for right now with scope row type ID. Is it type ID? It's collection type ID, isn't it? Okay. There we go. So we at least have the name down, so that's a start. The status is undefined. I'm not entirely sure why. And then our type is 1. So our post type or collection type is 1. So let's see why is the status undefined here? So we have state descriptions, which I believe I'm sending down with it, and then we have the state ID. Is that all saving? Let's see, where's state ID at? Oh, there's no state ID. Oh, I never refreshed the migration. Now, did I? I added it. I'm pretty sure I added it. I added it, right? Yep. And double check I wasn't just messing up my eyes here. No, there is no state. Okay, so we need to node ace migration. Roll back. Everything should already be on badge 0, so we just do that, and then node ace migration run. Let's go log out. Let's go sign up. And another issue with this? I just fixed it. Insert into users avatar URL created at email, yada yada. Users role ID form. Isn't that the same issue I ran into last time that I had just fixed? Or did I not fix it? Evidently I didn't. What was the issue? Oh, I didn't seed. I need to group those freaking commands into just a node ace migration reset or something like that, so that it automatically tries to run the seeds for me. And now somehow we got to the page login. So I don't know how we got to there. Probably the middleware. Probably haven't updated that quite yet. All right, let's make ourselves an admin. Really? Okay, there we go. I was gonna say. Definitely logged in. Should have a user. Okay. Verify that worked. There we go. All right, so if we go into collections and we create a new one, we should be good to get rid of that now. That little inspect. So if we go down to collections, create or edit, it's up near the top, right here. All right. This is a test. We have these types there. Go ahead and save. All right. Now it's coming through as public. There we go. Test private collection. Sure, that's fine now. Save as private. Ooh, that didn't work. So what's going on there? Click save as private. That worked for the post. if I had to guess, well, no, I would need it for the validator, wouldn't it? And those buttons don't submit the form. So it would have had to have sent up with something. Is it looking for state ID or did I change that? State ID. All right, is it collection form? It is collection form. All right. Let's try to, oh, I didn't make the edit page yet, so we can't edit it. All right, and I don't have delete yet either. So let's see if unlisted might work. Nope. All right, what did I do to you? So let's actually pass in. Man, I can no longer type. I'm sorry. Event, and event. There we go. Let's pass in the event. Let's prevent default and verify that it's actually sending up, altering, then sending up. Okay. Well, what am I doing? I could just get rid of the submit. It is just an @click. All right, there we go. Let me get rid of the event. There we go. Okie dokie. So, really, I shouldn't need to test or type anything, but we will go ahead and affirm document collection form dot, what was it? State ID, status ID? Get those two confused too much. State ID dot value. Actually, is it looking for state ID or did I do state ID or did I just do state? Well, okay, there's a part of the issue. There is no state. Okay. State ID, schema.number. So there's half of the battle. Wasn't passing it up into the data. So let's see if that was the whole issue. Testing unlisted 2. Yep, sure enough. Well, that would be hard to save it as a specific state if you're not actually saying that it should be a specific state now, wouldn't it? There we go. All right. Those should be different colors, but that's a whole different issue. Hey, Roman. Let's see. You said you should create a MFS that migrates back, runs, and seeds. Alias MFS star. Yeah. I don't know why I have such a hard time remembering to run seeds. But it is an ever-long issue for me. All right. Let's see. I'll go ahead, rig up the edit page and the delete because those should already exist since we just need to query it, provide the same stuff that we have here in the store, and then delete would just be deleting it. And then we'll need to slowly add in the ability to manage the posts, and then we'll see whether or not we want to do taxonomies. I'm still undecided about that. So we would want view, params, and that probably be it. So we'll want to do const collection equals await collection dot find or fail params dot id. Shouldn't need to preload anything at this point in time. Yeah, so, and then we will do return view dot render studio collections create or edit and pass it in the collection. And we're also going to need to pass it the same stuff that we're passing to the create. So states, statuses, and collection types. So we'll go up to here and just copy these. Okay. There, oh. And it's supposed to be statuses. There we go. So that might actually just be it for edit. And then we would need to go through and do update. So we'll see if we can, yep. The slug auto-populated. Nothing else did. Did I have, maybe I know I put a description on this one. Yeah. So this is probably still just referencing title. Probably forgot to update that. So let's go see. Sure enough, there it is. Okay, there we go. And then while we're here, let's go ahead and do the update as well. So this one will take request, response, params, session, and I don't think we'll need auth because the owner is already set. So use the same validator as the create. So await request dot validate collection validator. Oops. Scroll to the top on accident. All right. And then let's actually do, well, yeah, validate the data before you actually query. And then we'll do collection equals await collection find or fail params.id. And then collection.merge data.save await return view. Oh, I grabbed a response. I want view. There we go. Dot render studio collections. I have such a hard time remembering collections. Collections index. No. Create. No. Sorry. No. What am I doing here? You're not referencing the edit. This is update. So you do want response, and you want to redirect to that route. Okay, and then we can go ahead, and while we're here, let's do destroy. No, we won't need request at all. We just need response and params. So const collection equals await collection.find or fail params.id. And then we will do await collection.delete return response dot redirect to route studio collections. Oop, doing dots. Collections index. There we go. Okie doke. So I think everything on the front end should already be set up to accommodate for that. So we have the name in here, we have the slug, description, and the statuses. So let's change this to a course type. Let's change the description to have edit on it. Let's change the title or the name to have edit on it as well. And this one was public, so let's try to change it to unlisted. Did I have two of these? I must have. So this changed to, unless it created. It might have created. Let's try that again. Edit 2. Sure enough, yeah, that created. Because now we have 7. We had 6. So I bet you that's still checking if post, which would definitely be false. Yep, right there. So if post. So if collection. All right, there we go. Well, that gives us the plenty of records to test our delete out with. Anyway, so we'll delete. Can I find route? Studio collections index. Oh, collection needs S. Well, why am I hard coding that to route studio.collections.index? There you go. See, so I was right with dots. I was just second guessing myself. Because that's a redirect, not a render path. Okay. Man, I need to go to bed. It's only going on 6, but I am evidently really ready for bed. All right, so let's try delete. Row not found. Row not found. Studio collection 7. Taxonomy, nope, collections. So we only have 6. And it looks like this one may have already deleted. So yeah, okay, that makes sense then. All right, and then we'll try it again. This one, make sure it goes okay. Yeah, all right, there we go. All right, so now let's try this again. Let's see if, so let's do edit 3. We haven't named anything 3 yet. Give that a save. Okay. Still with this. Cannot find route studio collections index on the redirect to the route. Oh, I fixed that on the delete, but not the, yeah, right here. All right. There we go. I thought I had looked at them all, but evidently not. All right, so let's try you again. So let's go back into collections. And we have this 3 now. So let's try 4. And we no longer have a 3, but we do have a 4. So that seems to be working. Let's try changing it from public to private. That's working. Private to unlisted. That's working. In progress to archived, and from series to course. Oh, I don't have the in progress state on here, but the series to course did work. And then we can try course to playlist, which should be 3 now. And there we go. Okay, so that's working. And then what am I going to do? Add the status onto there. Go ahead and do that real quick. So, no, that is status. Archived, in progress, complete, archived, outdated, but no. So I have that mislabeled. That's not status, it's state. Yeah, got that mislabeled. So state ID. Really, that could probably just put that on the same line. That way it's not taking up a whole other column. So we have state descriptions. Do we have a status description? State status. We do. Status description. So we will go to here, and on the index page, In addition to states and state descriptions, we'll do const. I don't know if I need status. Provide it and see. Okay. And then we'll just need to do the same thing here. So status, descriptions, scope, row, status ID. We'll see how that looks. It might not look. What the? What did I do? Why did that just turn into a number? Oh, yeah, need to update this as well. There we go. All right. Sitting here going, what did I do wrong? All right, let's try this now. Status, descriptions, scope, row, status ID. It's not the best. I'll leave it as is though. It wouldn't be too bad to do like a little slash, have this be darker and bolded and then that light and not bolded. Yeah, I don't really know how like in the previous project I didn't use them a whole lot. It was mostly just on this page and then on the create and edit page. But I'll play that by ear. I definitely could make those globals. Look and see. Yeah, that's it. That'd be on the post page, series page, comments page. So it's mostly all on the back end side, but I'll play that by ear. Okay. Let's see. So we need to bind our post to our, well, we don't have any post anymore, but we need to bind our post to our controllers as well, or collections as well. I might save that for tomorrow. Kind of out of it tonight. But we did manage to get our collection set up. We managed to get our migration set up for the future. And some other stuff I can't quite remember. But yeah. So cool. Good times ahead. We'll hopefully be getting this homepage rigged up to live data here soonish. Once we get the posts and the collections set up, we should be good. Taxonomies can come in later. But yeah, so thanks everybody for stopping by. I'm going to go take a nap or something. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what time, but probably morning or afternoonish.